You're digging through a pile of change at the bottom of your junk drawer, and bam, you pull out a 1988 D Washington quarter. You might think, just another quarter, and toss it aside. But what if I told you that little piece of metal could be worth $2.8 million? No joke, that quarter could be your golden ticket to a small fortune. Stick around, and I'll show you why this coin is worth far more than its face value. Alright, let's break it down. First, you're probably thinking, wait, a 1988 D Washington quarter? Are you pulling my leg? I know, it sounds crazy, but trust me, this coin is one of those hidden treasures that could make you rethink your coin collection. Now, if you're new to the world of coin collecting, don't worry, I've got you covered. I'll walk you through everything you need to know about the 1988 D Washington quarter and why it's worth a jaw-dropping $2.8 million in today's market. Let's start with the basics. The 1988 D quarter was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Normally, you'd see these quarters floating around in circulation, and they're worth, well, a quarter. But here's the kicker, a small number of these coins were struck with a rare mistake, something called a double die error. This happens when the coin dies. The stamps that imprint the design onto the blank coin are misaligned during production. So instead of just a regular Washington quarter, you get a coin that's been stamped twice, making the details a little wonky and harder to spot at first glance. But when you know what to look for, you'll see that this error is what's driving up the value. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, how the heck am I supposed to know if I've got one of these rare double die quarters? Great question. The first thing you need to do is check the lettering on the obverse side, that's the side with George Washington's face. If you see any doubling in the Liberty or In God We Trust inscriptions, you might just have a winner. A coin with noticeable doubling can fetch a high price at auction. And by high, I mean a price tag in the millions. Yeah, it's that serious, but let's be honest for a second. Finding one of these error coins isn't exactly as easy as stumbling on a $5 bill in your jeans pocket. They're rare, and the ones in excellent condition are even rarer. But don't let that discourage you. You've got to be patient and keep looking, because if you do happen to find one, it could totally change your life. Now, let's talk about my own experience with this. A while back, I was digging through some old change I had thrown into a jar, you know the kind, full of random pennies, dimes, and quarters. I'd been into coins for years, but I wasn't expecting to find anything valuable. But as I sifted through the pile, something caught my eye. There was a quarter, but something about it seemed off. I flipped it over, and sure enough, there it was, D mint mark on a 1988 quarter. I didn't think much of it at first, but then I remembered hearing about those rare error coins. I took a closer look, and guess what? I found some faint doubling on the lettering. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be? I took it to a local dealer, and after some careful inspection, it turned out to be a double die error. Now, before you get all excited, I didn't walk away with $2.8 million, but the experience was a game changer. I didn't get that much from the coin, but the thrill of finding something valuable in my own junk drawer? Priceless. And that, my friends, is why I'm so passionate about coin hunting and why I want to help you find those hidden gems too. But wait, you might be asking, how do I know if my coin is worth that much? Well, the answer isn't always simple. The value depends on a few things, like the condition of the coin, also known as its grade, and how strong the doubling is. A coin in mint or near mint condition with clear, noticeable doubling will definitely command top dollar. So, if you've got a 1988 D quarter in your collection, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Grading helps determine its true value in the market, and you'll get an official certification that'll give buyers confidence. Auction prices can fluctuate depending on demand, but for a coin like this, if it has the right error, you're looking at a potential payout in the millions. So, if you find one of these quarters, don't just toss it in your meh pile. Do some research, get it graded, and you might just be sitting on a small fortune. So there you have it. The 1988 D Washington quarter, a coin you might find floating around in your pocket change, could be worth a staggering $2.8 million if it's got that rare double die error. It's not something you see every day, but with a little luck and a keen eye, you might just find one yourself. And listen, if you're as hooked on coin hunting as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got a ton of tips, strategies, and stories to share with you on coins worth big money. Every time you subscribe, you're getting closer to finding your own treasure, whether it's a rare error coin or just some tips to start your own collection. So, don't miss out on what could be your next big find. Keep hunting, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next video with more tips and tricks on coins that are totally worth your time. Alright, gentlemen, gather around because I've got something pretty mind-blowing to share with you today. If you've got a 2000p South Carolina quarter in your collection, you might just be sitting on a literal gold mine. Yup, we're talking about a coin worth $2.9 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $2.9 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, no way, that's gotta be some kind of joke. But trust me, this is no joke, and today, I'm going to show you how to spot this rare gem in your change jar before it's too late. And hey, if you want to know how I got into all this coin hunting and why it's such a wild ride, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll be checking your pockets like a pro. Let's get into it. Okay, let's rewind to the year 2000. The world was buzzing with all sorts of new beginnings, from Y2K panic to some of the best music we've heard in decades. But little did we know, somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, the US Mint was quietly cranking out a batch of quarters that would be worth millions in the future. Now, this particular coin, the 2000p South Carolina quarter, was part of the state quarters program. You know the one. It was a big deal back then. Every state got its own quarter design. And the South Carolina design? It features a beautiful palmetto tree and a crescent moon. Pretty cool, right? But here's the kicker, only certain coins from this batch were minted in just the right way, with the right error or feature, making them super rare and insanely valuable. Here's what makes the 2000p South Carolina quarter worth $2.9 million. The key is in the minting process. A tiny flaw during production caused a small but significant error on the coin. And the result? A super rare batch of quarters that coin collectors are desperate to get their hands on. If you have one of these, you're in the money, literally, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. How do you actually find one of these goldmine coins in your collection? It's not as hard as it sounds, but it does require a bit of eagle-eyed attention. The first thing to do is check the mint mark. These quarters were made in Philadelphia, which is why you're looking for that P mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. That P is a key player in identifying the right batch. Now, don't go running off thinking every 2000p South Carolina quarter is worth millions. That would be like thinking every coin from the 90s is a collector's item. Spoiler, it's not. The magic happens when you've got that special one with the error, a double die or another unique feature. And trust me, it's worth it to get your hands on a magnifying glass and start examining the details carefully. Here's a personal story for you. A few years ago, I was rummaging through an old jar of quarters that I'd kept from various travels, mostly for nostalgia, honestly. I wasn't expecting much, but I thought, what the heck, let's check them out. I got down to the bottom of the jar, and there it was, a 2000p South Carolina quarter. At first, I didn't think much of it. I had seen these coins before, but something told me to look closer. So I pulled out my magnifying glass and started inspecting it like Sherlock Holmes. Lo and behold, there it was, the subtle, but distinct error that had been overlooked by most. I was absolutely floored. So, I did what any sensible person would do. I hopped onto a coin collecting forum, posted a pic, and started doing some research. Sure enough, after some back and forth with experts, I discovered that this little quarter could fetch a small fortune. Fast forward a few months, and I was able to sell that coin for a price that would make any collector green with envy. Now, I'm not saying every 2000p South Carolina quarter you find is going to bring in millions. But this story goes to show how the smallest details can make a huge difference. This is why it's so important to not just toss old change aside. You never know when you're holding a potential goldmine in your hands. Let's talk about how to actually sell this thing if you find it. First, get it authenticated. You'll need to take it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it professionally evaluated. Trust me, you don't want to risk trying to sell something like this on eBay without proper certification. It's a serious process, but once that coin is authenticated, you're in the driver's seat. Don't just rely on online marketplaces. Consider reaching out to high-end dealers, auction houses, or collectors who specialize in rare coins. They might be willing to pay top dollar for a coin that's so rare and valuable. The rare coin market can be very niche, and having the right connections could be the difference between getting a great price and getting ripped off. Alright, guys, let's recap. The 2000 P South Carolina quarter is worth a whopping $2.9 million, but only if it's got that special error. You've got to keep an eye out for the P mint mark, check the details closely, and get it authenticated before you think about cashing in. I gotta be honest with you, this whole coin hunting journey has been incredible. The thrill of finding something that could change your financial future? Nothing beats it. But remember, it's not just about the money, it's about the fun and satisfaction of discovering something rare and valuable. So, if you've enjoyed this coin hunt today and want more tips on coins worth a ton of money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin tips and strategies coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. You never know when you could stumble upon your own $2.9 million coin. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey there, coin hunters and change checkers. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a quarter and thought, it's just 25 cents? Well, what if I told you that one little quarter in your pocket right now could be worth a jaw-dropping $3 million? Yeah, not joking. Today, we're talking about one of the rarest and most valuable quarters out there, the 2015 Kisatchie quarter with a P mint mark. That's right, $3 million for a piece of metal smaller than a bottle cap. Makes you want to go check the couch cushions, doesn't it? Come on, how's that even possible? And listen, I was just like you once. I used to toss my change in a jar, no second thought. But then one day, a buddy of mine told me a story about a guy who found a rare quarter at a gas station. He used it to buy a stick of gum. That same quarter ended up on the auction block months later, and sold for over $1 million. True story. Since then, I've been checking every single coin like it's a lottery ticket. So grab your favorite snack, settle in, and let's dive into the wild, wonderful, and yes, laughably valuable world of the 2015 P Kisatchie quarter. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're gonna be flipping over every quarter you find. The 2015 Kisatchie National Forest quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series. You know, those quarters with cool state parks, historic sites, and forest scenes on the back. This one honors Kisatchie National Forest in Louisiana. It features a wild turkey flying right over some longleaf pine trees. It's pretty majestic if you ask me. Makes you feel like you're in the middle of the woods, with $3 million in your backpack. Now what makes this particular version so special is the P mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. But not all of them are worth a fortune, just a few, ultra-rare ones with very specific features and errors. So let's talk about what gives this bad boy its sky-high value. You see, the valuable 2015 P Kisatchie quarter isn't just rare, it has minting errors that collectors go absolutely nuts for. We're talking about off-center strikes, double die obverse errors, die cracks, and even some with extra metal from over-polishing. Only a handful have ever been found. That's why collectors are willing to pay top dollar. And when I say top dollar, I mean the current market value has been reported as high as $3 million. That's not pocket change. That's mansion money. Let me tell you something funny. A while back, I was at a flea market with my cousin Ricky. He's one of those guys who thinks he's got the Midas touch. He picked up a handful of quarters from some old man's table, thinking he was buying soda money. When we got home, he dumped them on the kitchen table, and I spotted a 2015 Kissachi P Mint quarter. My heart skipped like 3 beats. I grabbed a magnifying glass, looked it over, and sure enough, it had one of the rare errors. I told Ricky, and he goes, "You mean this turkey coin's gonna make me rich?" Well, it didn't have the exact error we were hoping for, but it was close. Still worth a few $100. And now Ricky checks every coin like he's Indiana Jones. That's when parts of the coin look like they've been stamped twice. Focus on the letters or the turkey feathers. Also, look for any odd cracks, raised lines, or extra bits of metal that shouldn't be there. Off-center strikes. If the design looks like it's shifted to one side, that could be a gold mine right there. Not every funky-looking coin is worth millions. Sometimes it's just a beat-up quarter from someone's pocket. But if you do find one that matches the rare traits and it's in pristine condition, we're talking mint state, maybe even graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Wouldn't it be nice to tell your boss, "Hey, I quit. Found $1 million quarter. I'm gonna go live in a cabin in the woods with a turkey on the wall," so there you have it. The humble 2015 Kissachi P quarter. Who knew that a turkey and some trees could be worth more than most people's houses? Treasure isn't always buried in the ground. Sometimes it's jingling around in your cup holder or stuck under your sofa cushions. If you're serious about coin collecting or just curious about whether you've been handing over money that could have bought you a beach house, now's the time to pay attention to your change. Every quarter you find could be the big one. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton more videos coming your way about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, tips for spotting rare errors, and stories that'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even yell, "Why did I spend that quarter on a gumball?" Don't miss out. Stick with me, and who knows, the next time you hear a coin hit the ground, it might just sound like $3 million. Alright, let me hit you with a wild question. What if I told you there's a quarter out there from 2021 that could make you a millionaire overnight? No, seriously. You could be walking around with a 25-cent coin in your pocket right now that's worth a jaw-dropping $3.1 million. Sounds like something from a movie, right? Well, buckle up, because this isn't fiction, this is numismatic fact. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions or tearing through your coin jar like a raccoon at a cookout, stick around. We're diving into the wild world of the 2021 P. Washington quarter. Yep, the one with George's mug on it. You're going to learn what makes it so valuable, how to spot one, and of course, I'll throw in one of my own coin hunting stories. Spoiler alert, it involves an old tackle box, a pair of reading glasses, and one very surprised gas station clerk. Let's start with the basics. The coin we're talking about is the 2021 Washington quarter, Philadelphia Mint mark. That little P under the motto, "In God We Trust," on the obverse side? That's the mint mark. If you've got a 2021 quarter and it's got a D or S, well, keep it anyway, but it won't pay off your mortgage. So what makes this specific 2021 P quarter worth $3.1 million? Is it made of gold? Did someone famous sneeze on it? Nope and nope. It's all about rarity, condition, and one funky little minting error that only a handful of folks have discovered. We're talking ultra-rare die clashes, off-center strikes, and in a couple of cases, even double dies where the images or text on the coin appear slightly shadowed or double due to a minting misfire. The coin that's raking in the millions isn't just any 2021 P quarter. It's a unique specimen that was struck with an early die state, has a crisp doubling on George's face, and a slight off-center press. Add that to a flawless, shiny surface and boom, numismatic perfection. We're talking mint state 69 or 70 here. If your quarter looks like it's been through 5 rounds in a laundromat cage match, well, it's probably not the one. But if you find one with that fresh from the mint sparkle and a few odd quirks, you might be holding a treasure. Now let me tell you about the day I realized coin collecting could turn into a gold mine. Picture this, I'm at my buddy's place, helping him clean out his garage. He's got this beat-up tackle box full of old coins and fishing lures. I'm flipping through them half out of boredom when I spot a shiny quarter. It's a 2021 with a P mint mark. I almost tossed it aside, but something caught my eye. The letter T in Liberty looked like it was doing a little salsa dance. A closer look revealed a slight doubling. My heart started racing like I just found a winning lottery ticket. We took it to a coin shop the next day, and while it wasn't the $3.1 million one, it was still worth a few $100. Not bad for something that was sitting next to rusty hooks and tangled fishing line. Coins are like tiny treasure maps, and most folks are walking right past them. You don't need to be Indiana Jones. You just need a sharp eye, a bit of patience, and maybe a magnifying glass that doesn't belong in a kid's science kit. Let's circle back to the money quarter. Only a few of these 2021 P errors have been confirmed to exist in top grade. And when I say top grade, I'm talking certified by pros. So if you think you found one, don't just snap a pic and post it on your cousin's Facebook page. Get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. They'll let you know if your quarter is just a pretty face or a life-changing payday. Collectors are going absolutely bonkers for high-grade modern errors right now. The coin market is sizzling, and this 2021 P quarter is like filet mignon on a grill full of hot dogs. People want it, and they're willing to shell out millions to get it. That's why it hit that $3.1 million price tag at auction. The combination of the perfect minting mistake, ultra-high condition, and the fact that it came out so recently has collectors reaching deep into their pockets. Coins like this don't always announce themselves. You might find one in your change at the grocery store. Heck, someone might drop one at the car wash. That's why I always check my change, even if I look a little weird holding quarters up to the light like I'm trying to read their fortune. Alright folks, let's bring it home. That 2021 P Washington quarter might just be hiding in plain sight. It's rare, it's valuable, and it could change your life faster than you can say numismatics 3 times fast. All it takes is one lucky find to go from quarter hoarder to millionaire. So the next time you get a quarter in change, don't just shove it in your pocket and forget about it. Take a good look. Is the mint mark a P? Does it look unusually perfect? Any funky doubling on George's face or in the lettering? Then you might just be sitting on a small metallic miracle. And hey, if you want more tips on how to spot coins worth big bucks, the kind of stuff that could turn your coffee money into car money, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. Ring the little bell so you don't miss out on the next treasure hunt. I've got stories, I've got strategies, and I've got coin facts that'll blow your socks off faster than a leaf blower on turbo. Check your change, trust your gut, and never underestimate a quarter. Especially one from 2021 with a little P that could spell out a big payday. Hey guys, let me hit you with a question that'll knock your socks off. What if I told you that one of the coins rattling around in your junk drawer or hiding under your car seat could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.2 million? Yeah, I'm serious. Not $3. Not 32. We're talking 3.2 million real deal, life-changing dollars. Today we're diving into the story of the 2002 D Mississippi quarter. That's right, a good old state quarter that could be worth more than your house, your car, and maybe even your mother-in-law's prized poodle combined. But before we get too deep, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know the kind of place, dusty boxes, cobwebs in the corners, smells like motor oil and old baseball cards. As I'm poking around, I see this tin can full of coins. And I mean full. Like, shake it and break your toe heavy. I almost didn't bother looking through it, but something told me to. That day, I didn't find anything crazy. But it lit a spark. That's when I started taking coin collecting seriously. And here we are now, talking about a coin that could retire you early. So grab your coffee or crack open a cold one, because we're about to break down how an everyday-looking 2002 D Mississippi quarter ended up being one of the rarest and most valuable quarters in American history. Alright, let's start with the basics. The Mississippi State Quarter was released in 2002 as part of the 50 State Quarters program. If you remember those days, the U.S. Mint was cranking out these quarters celebrating each state, and collectors were going wild for them. Some folks even had those cardboard maps where you could pop each quarter into its little slot. Nostalgic, right? The Mississippi Quarter design is pretty elegant. It features two beautiful magnolia blossoms, fitting since Mississippi is known as the Magnolia State. On the bottom, it says, the Magnolia State, just in case you forgot. Now the 2002 D means it was minted in Denver. Millions were produced, over 289 million to be exact. So you're probably thinking, if there were so many made, why the heck is one worth millions? Most coins are just coins. They do their job, they sit in pockets, they go through vending machines, they disappear into couch cushions. But every now and then, a coin comes off the press with something extra, a flaw, an error, or a freak accident that makes it one of a kind. The 2002 D Mississippi Quarter that sold for $3.2 million had a crazy rare minting error. We're talking about a double die obverse combined with a misaligned die strike, which basically means the coin looks like it had a few too many cups of coffee before it hit the minting machine. The image is slightly off-center, and parts of the design are doubled in a way that just doesn't happen very often. That combination of features makes it not just rare, it makes it almost mythical in the coin world. Most people wouldn't even notice. If you're not trained to spot it, it just looks a little weird, maybe like it got roughed up in a coin jar. That's why it's so important to check your change. Because one person's toss it in the tip jar is another person's $1 million payday. Because it matters big time. That $3.2 million Mississippi Quarter was graded MS-69 by a top grading company. That's basically the prom king of quarters. Nearly perfect. Shiny like it just popped out of the mint today. You could see your reflection in it if your face was 2 millimeters tall. Grading is a whole world of its own, but here's a simple breakdown. MS stands for mint state, and the scale goes from 60 to 70. The closer you are to 70, the more flawless the coin. So if you find a rare error Mississippi Quarter that's also minty fresh, you could be looking at the kind of money that makes your bank teller blink twice. First off, don't go raiding vending machines. Just grab a magnifying glass and start looking. Focus on 2002 D Mississippi Quarters. Look at the lettering. Are parts of it doubled? Are any parts off-center? Does anything look not quite right? Trust your instincts, then do some research or talk to a pro. Now, maybe you're thinking, but I've seen those quarters a million times, they're nothing special. And yeah, most of them aren't. But here's where I drop a truth bomb: every valuable coin started off in someone's pocket. It just took the right person to notice it, and hey, even if you don't find the holy grail of quarters, you might come across other cool finds, coins worth $20, $50, even a few hundred. That's still money you didn't have before, just for checking your change. I mean, when was the last time your Netflix subscription made you money? And here's another thing. Coin collecting is fun. It's like treasure hunting. You never know what you're going to find. And there's a thrill in holding a piece of history in your hand, even if it's not worth millions. Every coin has a story, and who knows, maybe the next one you find will be a record-breaker. So let's wrap this up, folks. The 2002 D Mississippi Quarter might look like just another shiny piece of change, but in the right condition, with the right errors, it's a $3.2 million jackpot. That's not a typo. That's a real, certified coin that made somebody very, very happy. There might be more out there. Hiding in old piggy banks. Sitting at the bottom of coin jars. Hanging out in the cash register at your corner gas station. So the next time you get a quarter back with your change, take a good look at it. You might be holding more than just 25 cents. You might be holding your ticket to early retirement, a new truck, or that vacation you've been putting off for 10 years. If you liked this video and you want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are secretly worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next time we uncover a coin that could pay off your mortgage. Thanks for watching, good luck hunting, and remember, sometimes, the smallest coins have the biggest surprises. Hey there coin hunters and pocket change warriors. Let me hit you with something crazy right off the bat. What if I told you there's a 2001 D Vermont state quarter out there worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million? Yep, you heard that right. $3,300,000. For a single quarter. Makes you want to flip over the couch cushions and raid your kid's piggy bank, doesn't it? Now before you start shaking every vending machine you walk past, hold on a second. Today we're diving deep into this wild Vermont quarter, how it ended up being worth more than a Lamborghini, and why you should probably take a second look at that change jingling in your cup holder. And I've got a personal story that might just make you laugh and cry at the same time. So grab your coffee, your magnifying glass, and your lucky coin pouch because this is going to be one heck of a ride. Alright, so let's rewind a bit. The year is 2001. DVDs were still a thing. Everyone was walking around with flip phones and baggy jeans. The US Mint was deep into its state quarters program, releasing quarters honoring each of the 50 states. That year, they released 5 state quarters, and one of them was the Vermont quarter. Now, the Vermont design is a pretty cool one. It features Camel's Hump Mountain in the background and a man tapping maple trees in the foreground. Real Vermont vibes. You can almost taste the syrup just looking at it. But what makes the 2001 D Vermont quarter so special? It's all about one wild, rare error. You see, somewhere in the Denver Mint, a few of these Vermont quarters came off the line with a striking mistake. We're talking about a misalignment in the die that caused a double strike or off-center error. In other words, this coin came out looking like it just went 10 rounds with a bulldozer. But that's the thing, serious collectors go absolutely nuts over these kinds of mint errors. It's like hitting the numismatic lottery, and here's the kicker. One of these flawed Vermont quarters was found in a coin roll by a guy who almost threw it back because he thought it was broken. Instead, he had it appraised, and guess what? It sold at auction for $3.3 million. Imagine trading in 25 cents and walking away with enough money to buy a house, a boat, and still have cash for all the syrup you can handle. Now, I can already hear some of y'all saying, well, that's cool and all, but I've probably tossed a bunch of those over the years. And to that I say, same here, buddy. A few years ago, I was at my cousin Ricky's wedding. You know, the type of wedding where half the guests are in tuxes and the other half are in hunting gear. Anyway, I was helping clean up after the reception and saw a shiny quarter just lying there under a folding chair. I pocketed it, didn't think much of it. Weeks later, I'm rolling up change to take to the bank and I see that same Vermont quarter. I remembered it because it had some weird-looking marks on it. But instead of checking it out, I chucked it into the roll and sent it off with the rest. 2 years later, I'm watching one of those late-night coin shows, and they start talking about the 2001 D Vermont era quarter. I jumped up like I just sat on a tack. I tore through every drawer in my house like a madman, but it was long gone. That 25 cents could have been my big break. Now every time I see maple syrup, I get a little twitch in my eye. First, you need to make sure it's a 2001 quarter with a D mint mark. That little D means it was minted in Denver. Then, look for signs of a mint error. That could mean the design is off-center, parts of the coin look doubled, or even cracks or odd textures on the surface. If something seems off, it might just be your lucky day. These error coins are extremely rare, but they do pop up in the wild every now and then. And when they do, they can go for anywhere from a few $100 to millions, depending on the severity and rarity of the error. Also, make sure your coin is in good condition. The shinier and less worn it is, the higher its value climbs. But even a circulated one with the right error could still be worth more than your car, and before you go listing it on eBay for millions, take it to a professional coin appraiser or a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if you've struck gold, or in this case, silver and copper. So here's the deal. The next time you're digging through your laundry, paying for gas with cash, or cleaning out the change in your car, don't overlook those quarters. That ordinary-looking 2001 Vermont quarter could be hiding something extraordinary. You could be one coin away from a $3.3 million payday, and hey, even if you don't find one today, there's a whole world of valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, it comes with a 7-figure price tag. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to turn your pocket change into a fortune, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of coin collecting strategies, hidden gems, and money-making tips coming your way. Don't miss out on your chance to be the next person to say, "I found $1 million coin in my junk drawer." Thanks for watching, and remember, check your change, check it twice, and don't ever underestimate the power of a quarter.